And picking back up where we left off here. I know it seemed like I just went from black to white. That was the magic trick. It's 2 days later. Like I said, I'm going to be recording this as I can. So right back into it. This is where we left off. Mokbo. Mokbo. Mokbo is our Ebe word for to hope or expect. It's two words combined, two Ebe words combined. Mo, which is our word for path or a journey, and bo is to look or watch or keep. What are we supposed to be keeping? What is it that we are supposed to be doing while we are expecting, right? Remember, the kingdom of heaven comes not with observation. So what is it we're supposed to be doing? Well, quite simply put, it is these Sélɔ, or the code, our righteous constitution, if you will, our righteous policy, the policy of our people, our biblical policy. The holy Afa is what we are supposed to be maintaining. Now, and that's just the example of it there of Mokba. Mokba. It's a Mokbokbo, so it's a shortened form of Mokbokbo, but hope or expectation. Now, let's get a few verses here. Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9. Dealing with those arms, right? Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9. Picking up at verse 4. Hear, O Asare, the Lord Miamaula is one Lord. Anyame Miamaula is one Lord. And thou shalt love Anyame Womaula with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words, Sélɔ, which I command thee this day, shall be in thy heart. Shall be where? Shall be in thy heart. Did you catch that for me? Did you catch that? Need I read it again? And these words, these are the holy Afa, these are the prophecies, the testimonies, the law, what you call the Bible, the word of the Lord, shall be where? Written on a tablet. Ao. Compile them and put them in a book. Ao. They shall be where? Where shall they be for me? In thine heart, which we understand is truly the mind. It shall be within you. What am I saying to you, Foreman, if you haven't figured it out? We were never supposed to write anything down. We were never supposed to write anything down, Foreman. This is where you get the concept of an oral tradition. A lot of the wisdom that I am giving you comes from our oral traditions. Everything that you do see written was once only an oral tradition. Our migration story, the true one, isn't written. It's with the people, with our Togbiwo, that is our elders. That is why I am emphatically learning our language, our tongue, because it is a beautiful thing. And this is how it should be, that the wisdom of who we are, my understanding, my knowledge will go to the next level for me when I learn the language fully, because there is much content, written and video form, audio form, in which this word, our history, our culture, our lineage, uh, all of this is being spoken in stories and oral traditions, as it were. And the only way to gain true access, because remember, the culture is in the language, is by learning and understanding the language. Not just on a speaking it level, but also that cultural level. That's why you see Jewish men, they always say this when you watch those different street preaching videos. Do you speak Hebrew? They're actually saying it. No other culture can you go into in these true, take any knowledge that you are seeking in any field, it has to do with another culture. There's a disconnect. You can only go so far if you don't speak the language. So again, the culture is in the language. The key is the language. That unlocks all the doors for me. And that's why they had to keep this from us. I digress so that we may progress. But I want you to catch it. We were never supposed to write anything down. The commandment says, and these words shall that I command you this day shall be in your heart. Oral tradition. Now watch this. Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Again, do. What are we supposed to do? Not faith, faith without works. What is the work? Here's the work. And thou shalt teach them. What? Teach them. What? Teach them. Everyone desires prophetic gifts, but we do not have enough people desiring to be teachers. Hence my new title that you see there. Nufialaga Ènyèséƒ. That means professor Ènyèséƒ. I said it at the beginning. Nufialaga fue Nyate fue Nufialaga. That is professor of truth, or truth professor. What is my profession? Truth for me. That is the treasure. That is the ark that we as a people are supposed to be carrying upon our shoulders. If you want to learn, then you must go to the people. The Quran and the Bible confirm this. You shall teach them diligently unto the Gentiles. Oh, unto the world. Oh, unto thy, say it with me, class, children. Unto thy children. This is a living word given by a living Mawu for a living people. You understand this? The word is alive. When you write it, it dies. The word is alive. When you write it, it dies. Breath of life transferred from one individual to another. You see the importance of a people who are supposed to be together. Now you understand why slavery was necessary to fulfill Psalm 83. By separating the children and all of this that I showed you in CNWG from the elders, you are able to cut off that breath of life, that living word that is supposed to be passed down from one generation to the next. It says, teach them diligently to thy children, and shall talk of them. Notice how nothing here says it's written. Everything is living word. You shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, whether you're sitting at home, whether you're out and about, and when thou liest down, or when it's time for bed, your bedtime story. This is all just a way of saying, and when thou risest up, when you wake up in the morning, this is all just a way of saying, this is the conversation. Our culture is the conversation. These laws, statutes, and commandments shall not depart out of thy mouth. If my daughter, not if, I had two different thoughts. My daughter has always worn dresses. She's never owned pants. So the conversation that as she gets older that she will be a part of will simply be teaching her how to make sure she's fully covered. We say the truth of her tongue, shion. More on that later. Does that sound familiar? Shion. I digress, so we made progress, but it just means to cover yourself. So without ever, she can't even comprehend what I'm reading to you right now. She can't comprehend Deuteronomy 22 and 5. But she doesn't need to comprehend that written word because she is living it. I'm just showing you that this is the wisdom behind this passage. It's a lifestyle, is what it's saying to you. This is the conversation. There will never be a conversation with her about pants. As we were teaching her to speak English, she was reading, we have been printing off Bible verses, but the word God is there. And just today I said, I don't want God written there anymore. I don't want her learning, being indoctrinated with that deception. So I want you to put Mawu there. So when she gets older, she won't even know. I want to be a 15-minute conversation of someone trying to explain to her who or what God is. And then she comes to the conclusion, oh, you're talking about Mawu. And they're like, what? Yeah, but never heard of this God that you're talking about. What is that? And if you were to put yourself at this time in history, when these words are being given, they had no concept of, they would not no concept. They would not have known, if you said God, they would not have known who you are talking about. Just like saying Jesus, they would have no idea who or what you're talking about. See? Remember, sin simply means wrong. So if you're wrong, you're in sin. And the wages of sin, and you see the dead state that our people are in, hence the valley of the dry bones. I digress so we may progress. 8, and thou shalt bind them for a sign. You shall do what? And thou shalt bind them for a sign. You shall bind them. That means to tie them. To what? Upon thy hand. Upon thy what? Upon thy hand. Upon thy what format? Upon thine hand. Krobo beads. Ever Krobo beads, recycled glass. Again, I don't the word, the Bible was not compiled to prove we are black. All you got to do to prove who this is talking about is look for the people that carry the culture. Whatever practice you see in here, we carry that culture. It's a part of our identity. It's a part of our life. These are things that go over your head because you've been cut off from your heritage. Not only upon thy wrist, watch this, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. They shall be what? They shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. The frontlets, that's not that's referring to I didn't write down. I didn't want to go too far off my point here. So let me say it. When you look at the frontlets there, I can show you this real quick. Deuteronomy, let's do this. Let me show you this real quick. Because it's better for me. It's better for me to show you this than to just say it. Let's get Deuteronomy 6 and 9 there. I mean 8 there. This word frontlets, 2903. Let's see here. Look at this. Theological significance, covenant, memory. So this is about remembering. The same reason we wear the fringes, right? Whereas what I'm looking for. I think I'm looking for, I didn't write down. Uh, Let me see. Hold on. Let me see here. Kafla. La la vie. Bla wode alrone. Ple ngolo banano. Nku. Domboji. Uh, Dom. Woji. When you go into this, I'm trying to save some time, y'all. Let me see if I can try to save some time. Remember, I wrote this 2 months ago, okay? So let's see what I see right here. La la. Uh, 'Cause I was gonna do this as I want to do this as a separate lesson. Um, yeah, I think that's what it was. I told myself I was gonna do this as a separate lesson, but so I didn't want to go too deep into it. But let me see if I can just not leave you hanging totally here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. see. It. I'll say it like this. So the word ingo, I just want to make sure I got the right word. Ingo. Oh, no, it's not ingo. That's ingo. Let me get this last one. I think let me look at this word here, and then I'll be ready to speak. Ndoma. 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 Okay. So, Kafla, when it says as frontlets between thy eyes, I was checking on some of the other words to to remind myself of exactly what I'm saying. But when it says as frontlets between thine eyes, ultimately the ngonu, it doesn't say they shall see yeah akba mau akba. It says, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. That's the English translation. In the other translation, the correct translation, it says ngonu. Ngo means forehead. See that? Ngomele ndoma. That means forehead between the space of thy forehead. It doesn't say between thine eyes. Ayabla tai wode ngonu upon your forehead led ndoma. Well, what's on my forehead for me? This is called a tabla nu. What's that word right there? Blah. See, this is a tabla nu. Ta head bla nu. Nu just meaning kind of whatever, but tabla nu. So tied, once again, you tied up on the wrist, tied up on the forehead as a reminder of what the law, which is what this is. I put up a video that you can see on the page, the YouTube page called Who Am I? I talk about it there. But this represents the same, the reminder that this is the reminder that this is. So they translated it as frontlets between thine eyes, when really it's not frontlets between thine eyes. It's also tie it upon your forehead. This is tied upon my what? Forehead. It's funny that you haven't worn one of these, but I can see it out of my peripheral vision. But the point is, the word is as a reminder. When you get into, again, I didn't put it in here. Just wanted to save time, so I'm not going to the words. I'm just breaking them down for you. When you look at bla wo de wo asi, which upon your hand, nu aber Jesse as a sign. Jesse and also bla tie wo de ngonu le ndome, tied upon your forehead. See, there's no frontlets between thine eyes. The word eye is inku. Inku is not even here. And you go back to the 2014 version, just showing you that inku. Bloa de alonu, that means right. Alonu is right hand. Ple ngonu be nano, to rest between. Inkudom. In the 2014 version, there's the eye right there. Inkudom. Woji. This G upon Nku dom between Woji upon your eyes. So it's the concept though is as a reminder. And that's what the word make sure you verify what I'm saying with G. Make sure I verify what I'm saying with G here. Yeah, because you have G is to respect, heart. Yeah. And Inku, let me check Inku. One last thing to check here. I'm just, like I said, for time, once again, I'm just uh trying to grab this quickly for you so you have some understanding. Again, Babama, this is from yeah, this was 2 months ago. So I'm kind of stumbling around because um trying to remember exactly why you have certain notations, playable. Inku, but like I told you, Inku is I. I'm just trying to see if it also has uh that's right. Inku Doji. Inku Doji. Inku Doji means to remember. So all I'm saying is Nkudom, Nkudom, Nkudom. So it's not Nku as an I, it's Nkudom. Nkudo. Nkudom Woji. So yeah, that was the home run right there. I just said it. This Nku by itself is I, but Nku Doji, and you can these are just those sounds are denoting having different meanings, right? The M is like making it like a verb instead of a noun. But so you would see a do and a hyphen and a G right here, right? It would say unku in parentheses. You have a do and a G there. Uh, so that's I'm just proving to you that this means to remember, not between thy eyes. So we're tying this upon our foreheads to remember. They translated it as frontlets between thine eyes or phylacteries, so that when you see this Jewish uh phylacteries forehead, let's just put that in there. There you go. So when you see this, you would think that this has something to do with Torah. This has nothing to do with Torah. Instead of uh type in Nawulamo. This. These are tablanu. There's one there, Uncle Togbi there. See? These are the actual, this is what the Bible is talking about. Uh-huh. What do you see upon his wrist? What do you see upon his neck? Aha. Is it making sense now for me? Is it becoming clear? Upon his wrist, the neck. Does the scripture say anything about this? Verse 9. Oh, we'll see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Now, I mentioned the neck. I mentioned the neck. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 21. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 21. Bind them continually. Let's look at verse 20. My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually. What? Bind them continually. Blah. Upon thine heart. Upon thy what? Upon thy heart. Again, the heart being spiritual, the mind. All of these things are so we can remember. Tablanu, alogi, right? Blah. And tie them, what? Tie them, what? Tie them about thy neck. This represents the Most High, Mawu, by the way. This is an ever glass bead form of it, but there are many forms. That's right. This is, you know that this is the law. And the thing about these is the string, because it's ancient, we haven't changed. This is the culture today, is tied at the end. It's not like a chain where it's got a link on it. This is how it was done then. This is how it's done till this day. It's tied. You tell me who the people are. Let's get a picture of that now. And there's many forms of this, right? Many forms of this. Take a look. The law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Neck, wrist, forehead. Isaiah 41, 8 through 10. Isaiah 41, 8 through 10. But thou, O Asare, art my servant, thou, O who, Asare. Sélɔ. Notice it is only, look how it is speaking of Israel. Thou, Asare, art my servant, Jacobi, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Verse 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, thou called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, called thee from the who? From the chief men. Remember, this is a Gentile, but he is a chief. He called us from the chief men. I dropped something over here. And said unto thee, thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Has he cast away his people, which he foreknew? Ao. 10. Fear thou not, for Ènyèséƒ, that I am is deceptive. That's him right there. For Ènyèséƒ with thee. For him, remember, he's speaking from first person. Remember, he is Nye. So Menye. So really he's saying for Menye with thee. I am. He is I am. Ènyèséƒ, Amenye. For Ènyèséƒ is with thee. Be not dismayed, for Ènyèséƒ, wo maula, I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand. What? With the right hand. What? With the right hand. Vama of my righteousness. The right hand of fellowship. The right hand. The right arm. That's what the symbol is about. Righteousness, the law. See how Just understanding the culture, the law is done away with, is preposterous. What is upholding us? What is lifting us up? What sustains any nation? It says sin is a snare to any nation. Sin is simply the breaking of the law. If you break the laws in the nation that you're in, I don't care what nation it is, your nation will descend into chaos. So those laws are simply our constitution. When we break them, we descend into chaos, and it's easy for other people, other nations to come in and take over. This is how kingdoms end. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. Every kingdom ends this way. And that is how this current kingdom is going to come to an end. It is becoming more and more divided. And a kingdom divided against itself, not maybe, cannot stand. See? So our key is to simply begin to keep our constitution now that we've rediscovered it. How many of you thought you were keeping all the laws? The culture, the soil, oral traditions, our traditions. That is the law. It's ingrained within us into our very fabric, pun intended, of our being. There's a whole story here. There's a lineage, a history being told. There's a language being spoken right here that none of you understand. From the headpiece to the neck to the wrist to the symbolic Jesse attire. There's a whole narrative going on. They're speaking. They're just now. It appears that their mouths aren't moving for me. But there's a whole conversation taking place right here that you can't hear nor comprehend because you have been disconnected from your heritage that he gave you. Kafu Mahu, all praises. Now, still dealing with Isaiah 51 and 5, right? That's still what we're dealing with. I want to break down the people versus the isles. So you need a reminder. Let's go back to Isaiah 51 and 5 just to give you a reminder. Isaiah 51 and verse 5. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and mine arms, now you understand those arms, shall judge the people, northern, southern kingdom. The isles, there's the isles, shall wait upon me, and on mine arm, righteousness, the law, shall they trust. I want to break down the difference between the isles. See this word often, and you've probably succumbed to the Israelites' indoctrination of this being the Gentiles. But we're going to take a closer look. Isles versus people. The people versus isles. Court is now in session. AKA the Dukowo versus the Fukpowo. The Dukowo versus the Fukpowo. Dukowo versus Fukpowo. The word Duko is the word usually used for nations, okay? Or Gentiles. It's where they get the word goy from. Duko, 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 go, 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 go. See how that sounds like go, 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 go. The ga, if you will, so you understand, symbol, was interchangeable. It could be ka or it could be ga. We just had to speak the language. That's in the Hebrew lessons that are coming. Uh-huh. So duko, which is the real word for Gentile, they dropped the do and they just kept the basically the ko and put the go on there. It's just dialects. So they say goy. They even got the or in there from the ko or from our or symbol that's not even in the English language. So they say goy, knowing that it was dukor, dukor, dukorwo versus goyin. See? Let's look at that word. Let me prove it to you and how it's written there. Let's see if I have it hot linked. Should be. H 1471. Yeah, good to go. 1471. Goy. Nation, people, Gentile. So they put a lot of different words to confuse. And can they be interchanged? They can. But I'm showing you how using those gray areas is how you create new doctrines. CNWG, translation, uh, is the currency of uh, gentrification. No, I think that's what I said. Of indoctrination. What did I say in part one? Translation is how you gentrify or what did I say in part one? Let me see if I can in CNWG. See if I can pull that for you real quick. Where did I write that at? That's part four. Let me see if I can remember. I'm gonna quote that right. I have to find it and maybe put it right here. The best I can do is maybe put it right here. But translation definitely affects interpretation. But I said it, I forgot the quote that I had written. That's how you know I just be in the spirit. But um where did I write that at? All right, let me keep moving. But this is what they've done. The translations used to deceive. Let me do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Um, let's keep moving. So, Goy, let me not get bogged down there. Kafla. You can also see here, upon further review, it says heathen. What is a heathen? What does it mean to call someone a heathen? Well, you may have answered pagan, and you are correct. Let's jump down to the religious context here. Scroll down, and where it says religious context. I think that's too far. Let me see if I can find where it is here. Religious context. Oh, let's go. I think I got it in my search here. I think that's what it is. Let's see. What does it mean to call someone a heathen? Oh, let me see. I think I got it saved over here. I'm tripping. Religious context. No, that's just underlined. Oh, let me do that. That's just underlined. Look at this here. The religious context says, and make sure I got this right. Heathen is a term used primarily of someone who is not religious or whose religion is not Judaism, Islam, or especially Christianity. And when you go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says the same thing, right? Exact same thing. That's where it's taken from. So that's in the religious sense what heathen means. Not someone who does not practice a religion. Their religions or their customs are what you would call pagan. Let's click on that. A person who practices a contemporary form of paganism, Wicca, anything outside of the major religions is considered to be a heathen. Are you starting to see the political nature of this word for me? And this is a deception. Saying that Togbi Avahama had a religion. Togbi didn't have a religion. He had a revelation. We're going to get that in the book of Yobeli, that is Jubilees. Let's take a look. Aha. Let's continue. Vaba. Where we left off, former. Where we left off, I said, and this is the deception. Say that Togbe Abrahama had a religion. Togbe didn't have a religion, former. He had a revelation. One more time. He did not, Togbe Abrahama did not have a religion. He had a revelation. And you do yourself, we do ourselves a huge disservice when we argue religion. This is how you shut down Dukoyo Gentiles, other nations who come, especially Islamist or Muslim. I'd rather say Islamist because we know that there are good Muslims, right? And that the Muslim that you have been given, just like Christianity, is GMO. But I digress, we may progress. So let us prove that Togwe did not have a religion, he had a revelation. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, that is Jubilee. Isaiah means Jubilee. Not Isaiah, like Isaiah, but Isaiah, Jubilee. Let's go to the book of Isaiah or Jubilees, chapter 12. And let's get verse 1 through 8 to get a reminder of Togbe's story. Aha. And it came to pass, and it came to pass in the 6th week, in the 7th year thereof, that Avram said to Terah, his father, saying, Fofo. And he said, Behold, here am I, my son. And he said, What help and profit have we from those idols which thou dost worship, and before which thou dost bow thyself? 3. For there is no spirit in them, for they are dumb forms, and that they cannot speak. And a misleading of the heart, worship them not. Now remember, in the context of our true African heritage, when you deal with the shrine, you often see many idols. Unfortunately, our people have or cleave to these idols. They have connections. They believe them to be our ancestors, things of this nature. Or they represent the deities that they serve. There are many of these idols, but they are infused within the culture within itself. Quick picture for you. Just going to type in, let's say, African shrine. Let's see what comes up. See if we can see any idols here. And just like that, you see the idols that are being spoken of here. Tron, we call them Tron. That's right, Tron. Tron are all so-called gods or deities below Mawuga, the Most High, true. So the word Mawu is reserved for Anyame, Anyokbon, Adomonkame, Adomankoma, the Most High himself. Tron are the others. These are the lower deities, if you will. But now, as you can see, once again, the culture itself tells you who this text is, what people produced this text, and who it is talking to. This is clearly Africa. That's right. Tron. Megatron. They put these things in front of your face, but you have no knowledge of your language, so you would never know it. But that's why the villain is Megatron. Mega means no. It is a way to cancel, to show not in our language. Tron, not, or the anti, it would be like saying the anti-God almost. Or so they use the word on both sides. Mega, ultimate in English. Megatron, the ultimate devil, if you will. You see? Villain. But I digress, we may progress. See how simple it is? I don't have to argue over the color. All I have to do, you can go anywhere you want to in the text, and I will take you to the truth. Vamos. So we know that we were not to bow down to these idols. These are practices that, again, you are not familiar with, so you have a superhero comic book in your head. 3. Verse 4. Worship the Mawu of heaven, who causeth the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and doeth everything upon the earth. And he hath created everything by his word. What? By his word. Christ is not the word of God. CNWG. Mawuga, the Most High, the Most I is responsible for these things. It is his word that breaketh the cedars. Amen. Amen. And all life is from before his face. 5. Why do ye worship things that have no spirit in them? Now, this, remember, this is Avram at the time. That's Abraham, but Avram at the time. This is Tobi Avram, Father Abraham at the time, speaking to his father, professing this truth. See how bold this is. But also look at the revelation. Why do you worship the things that have no spirit in them? For they are the work of men's hands. And on your shoulders do you bear them, and ye have no help from them. Because you have to carry these idols. They cannot go upon their own. See? But they are a great cause of shame to those who make them. They are what? They are a great cause of shame to those who make them. Once again, just giving you the visual. Speaking to my brothers and sisters on the soil who are very familiar with these practices. They are a shame to those who make them. Some of these are popular shrines. See? That's real blood. They are a shame to those who make them. Now, I'm showing you modern photos for me. See the female form there? I'm showing you modern photos. These aren't ancient biblical times. This is today on the soil. This is today. See? I can show you the Bible. You don't have to imagine it with me. You should not have to imagine it with us as a people. And that is where I've been most high willing, we will be. Let's continue. Vama. But they are a great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart to those who worship them. Worship them not. And that word worship, see, is problematic because you think of like, I worship you. That is not the proper understanding. It's more about the service. So when you go to any Indian restaurant in your city, or wherever you are, you walk in, you're going to see that elephant, and you're going to see the paintings, and you're going to see real food and money, seeds, grain, whatever it may be, in front of these trawo, on the front of these idols. That's a daily practice, bringing what you would call tithes, since we're speaking biblically. That's the tithes and the offerings. That's daily service, taking care of them, cleaning it up. That's what it means when it says worship, not praying or praising directly to the person. Understands that that thing is not that deity, but it represents that deity. So you have to understand the service of it is still wicked, because you're not supposed, not you, we are not supposed to bow ourselves down to them. So they can do whatever they want, whatever they would like. They're serving their deity. But if you come to serve the deity, the Lord of our people, Ènyàsàrè, we were commanded not to do so. We understood not to do so. 6. And his father said unto him, I also know it, my son. But what shall I do with a people who have made me to serve before them? So you can see the father has fear of what the people, the revolt of the people, rather than doing what is right, the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of what? Wisdom. 7, and if I tell them the truth, they will slay me, for their soul cleaveth. So he's saying, if I tell them the truth, his father's acknowledging the truth that his son understands. But it's like a pastor with the congregation who you come to with this knowledge, afraid of what his congregation will say, afraid of losing the congregation, afraid of the uh, uh, um, uh, reaction. What's the word I'm looking for? It's another word I was looking for there. Uh, how the people will respond. Because he understands that their soul cleaves, is tied, their mind. Another word would be nostalgia. When you think about Christmas and how hard it is to break our families from Christmas, Halloween, 4th of July, New Year's, because their soul cleaves, their mind cleaves, their memories, their life, everything is tied to that object. If you ask them, they will say, we don't worship the tree, but you know that they are bowing before it, opening gifts religiously every Christmas, every December the 25th. So that is the service, that is the worship that is being spoken of. They just don't realize it. But they would think we don't worship the tree. But that is service. You are serving another lifestyle. You are living another lifestyle. You are upholding those traditions, that culture, above that which was given to you. Their soul cleaveth to them. Easy. It's easy, very evident. Just say, hey, Christmas, go to Jeremiah 10. We all know it. Christmas is evil. We need to stop doing it. And watch your mother, watch her face change, watch her countenance shift. That is their soul is tied, like a soul tie in sex. Their soul is tied to that idol. Continuing verse 7. To them to worship them and honor them. Keep silent, my son, lest they slay thee. So they're talking, it's so deep. He's like, they will kill you for this. They will kill you, my son. Keep silent. And I digress, we make progress. 8. And these words he spake to his 2 brothers. So he also took this and spoke to his brethren now. And they were angry with him. I mean, this is literally, I'm reading it. It's heavy because it's like I'm reading my own biography right here. That's why this is so heavy. And I know that other Okim have this testimony, but it's literally like I could have wrote this in 2025. That's how you know that this is divine, right? And if 2 brothers, and they were very angry with him, and he kept silent. So he told his father, he told his brothers. His father didn't get angry, but he told him to keep silent, and his 2 brothers got upset with him. See? 9. And in the 40th Assay, or Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 7th year thereof, Avram took to himself a wife, and her name was Sera is Sera at this time. Okay, it's not Sayera yet. It is Sera. Sera, the daughter of his father, and the who? The daughter of his father, Selah. Sarah is who? The daughter of his father. You are reading that correctly, Former. Selah. And she's called his name Lot. Oh, Kafla. Wait a second. Oh, and she became his wife, Kafla. So now, uh, we'll come back to that. Let's jump down. I want to stop at verse 8. I went to verse 9, Kafla. But Selah, let us go to jump down to verse 16 through 19. We need 16 through 19. How can I get there? 12, 1 through 8. And we need 16 through 19. For some reason, guess we go here. Here we go. All right, 16 through 19. And in the 6th week, in the 5th year thereof, Avram sat up throughout the night on the new moon of the 7th month to observe the stars from the evening to the morning, in order to see what would be the character of the year with regard to the rains. And he was alone as he sat and observed. 17. And a word came into his heart, and he said, this is Asimona Pedas, the word came to him. That is not Christ. That is that intuition, that silent voice, the word of the Lord, as it were, that conscious, because he is consciousness. So Bobokokwe, the Holy Spirit, came unto him and said, or you can a better word, wisdom. Wisdom came unto him and said, all the signs of the stars and the signs of the moon and the sun are all in the hand of Anyame. Why do I search them out? Or I'll say Afueta because his name hadn't been given just yet. So we'll say Afueta for the sake of the storyline here, right? Why do I search them out? So he's saying, why am I trying to get this is heavy, why am I trying to get an outline of the year when these things are in the hand of Mawuga, right? Afueta, the Most High, Mawuga. He is in control. He's divining. Understand it's a practice. We had this understanding of prognostication or divining, being able to tell what shall befall us. I could get into a lot of things here, but he's using divination, what you would call astrology. And he's saying, why am I trying to basically plot out my life, the year, when the Most High is in control? And this is just evidence that these understandings, I always say that Genesis is genius. These understandings are already amongst us here. The New Testament, Christ, all of that, none of that concept is thought of. So when you get to Matthew chapter 6 and you hear him talking about seek ye first the kingdom of Mawu and all these things shall be added unto you, this is literally the revelation that he is having here. You understand? Uh-huh. 18. If he desireth, he causeth it to rain. It's funny because this week I'm looking at I always look at the weather outline, the forecast, and it'll say no rain. 2 hours later, it'll be pouring down, raining, like a hurricane or something. This is his point. Mawu decides if it's going to rain or not. So no amount of forecasting is truly going to determine what he wants to do. He causeth it to rain morning and evening, and if he desireth, he withholdeth it. And all things are in his what? Hand. 19. And he prayed that night and said, here it is, the revelation. Wenye nye mawugan dekakoe. Which means my God, I'm just reading as it is here for you, right? My God, Wenye Mawuga, Most High. Wenye Nye Mawuga. Sound familiar? Ila lema zebaktani, right? My God. It's the culture is already here. Thou alone art God. That is Dekakoe. This revelation for me is what you see the Islam, aka the Arabs or the Muslims, claiming that they have that we don't have. There is no Muhammad at this time. There is no Isaac or Ishmael at this time. So how are they laying claim to this when we already had it? Dogbi Avahama, Avam at the time, had this revelation that the Most High and He alone, CNWG, is all powerful, all knowing, in control. Plebabuo. Add the adjectives, add the definitions. He is everything. That's where Mawu comes from. It means exceeding. I shall surpass, exceedingly above all. That's why he is synonymous with the sky God. Because when you look at the sky, the air, it covers all. Thou alone, one, dekakoe, only you, no other, no trinity. He is one. And I already broke down in CNWG how the feminine and masculine, so the mother and the father are one. That was broken down in CNWG. But together, the feminine and the masculine, that is Mawu. Okay? There is no trinity. The word is the spirit of Mawu. When I'm speaking to you now, that is not Christ. They just invented that to make elevate a man to a superhero. To take your eyes off of Mawu Dekakoe, the one only true and Mawuli, true and living deity. But this is the revelation for me that Abraham had. Not a religion. What religion do you see here? I will wait. Akba. And thee and thy dominion have I chosen. What have I chosen? He had to choose. You have to choose to follow him. You have to choose this revelation. Can't be forced upon you. Can't be given to you. You have to choose and take it. And thee and thy dominion have I chosen, and thou hast created all things, and all things that are the work of thy hands. There is the revelation. Wenye nye mawuga dekakoe. Verse 20. to finish here in Aseye or Jubilee. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, or who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee. Yemawu. And establish thou me and my seed forever. Establish who? Establish thou me and my seed forever. Establish who? Establish thou me and my seed forever. Sélɔ mewo. Hold this, keep this in mind. Very, very important unto the understanding. Establish thou me. This is his prayer. And my seed forever. So this is only those who come out from a particular, from a certain lineage. That we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Hence why we say Deuteronomy 6:4. That is a profession of our allegiance. That is the pledge of allegiance. That is the Asare pledge of allegiance, the Israelites pledge of allegiance for me. Ènyèsàrè say, Anyame miyamaula nye tekakoe. He is one forever. We will not go astray from him. We don't acknowledge any other deity. There's only one, not the moon, not the stars. He is in control of all. This format is the revelation that led to the promise. Let's take a look at that promise. We're going to the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. Now, Anyame had said unto Avram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. 2. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee, Sélɔ, shall all families of the earth be blessed. For me, I submit to you that we have understood this verse incorrectly. Particularly verse 3. And I'm going to prove it. 3 different words. 3 different words for me. 3. For family are used in this one scripture. Kindred, nation, and family. Kindred, nation, and family. 3 different words used for family in this one scripture. But why? The investigation is of the word families. Let's go there. The word is mishpaka, if you are familiar with the modern Hebrew text. The word there is mishpacha. Kafla. Mishpacha. Let's go there. Family, clan, tribe, kindred. Let's go to the topical lexicon below. This is what I mean by topical lexicon. Scroll down, you see topical lexicon here. And then we're going down to, in that section, context. How important it is to get context. Christians say that's out of context. The Israelites say that's out of context. Well, did you know there's a context section? Where is the context section? Let's see here. That's right. I've said this 1,000 times. When I did this research, it was labeled context. Suddenly, for some unknown reason, the section label was removed shortly after I discovered it. So it doesn't say context anymore, amazingly. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get to this properly. Kindred. Let's see here. This comes from Shafa. Family, kindred comes from Shafa. See if I can get this right here. One kafla. Not Shipka. Kindred. Topical lexicon. Context. It's amazing that this is gone. Let me hit pause here while I find it. Oh no, resume. Let me resume that. I want to hit pause on my recording. How do I hit pause on my recording? Pause. Ènyè. So this is what I'm going to do because, again, they purposefully went in and took out context, which just, again, proves they're watching me because literally this changed like a couple weeks after I was here. They're watching me, but I digress. We make progress. Definition and scope. I'm going to use these three together to lay it out for you here. But it used to just say context, and I was going to read that paragraph. But since it doesn't have that, it's okay. I have to do it a different way. Mishpach, definition and scope. And your definition and scope. This is kind of the same as context. Designates a kinship. What a kinship? The word we are going with is kindred. Kindred, right? We say what? Kinfolk. All kinfolk ain't skinfolk. All skinfolk ain't kinfolk, right? A group larger than the immediate household, yet smaller than the tribe. What? Larger than the immediate household. You may have 5 people in your house, but smaller than the tribe. So this is showing you that that word mishpacha or family The kindred could literally be speaking of one tribe. We know it's not speaking of all the tribes, but I'm just showing you how this word doesn't mean everybody as far as Gentiles, nations that are not of the chosen seed line, which was the prayer of Tobi Abraham. It says, yet smaller than the tribe. It is the basic social, economic, and spiritual unit through which Mawu orders covenant life, worship, and inheritance in the Old Testament. About 300 passages employ the term to identify blood-related clans, extended households, or in a few prophetic texts, the nations as families of the earth. So can you see that this does not necessarily mean all families, meaning other than Abraham, meaning, all right, let's go with Ham and Yahweh, right? Shem and Yahweh, Ham and Japheth. They would not be included, is what I'm showing you. Patriarchal foundations. From the outset, Mawu's redemptive purposes are framed in family terms. His redemptive purposes are what? Framed in family terms. Think about a will. When the Lord promises Avram, all the families of the earth will be blessed through you. The term signals a global horizon while rooting that promise in concrete kinship. Rooting that promise in what? Concrete kinship. So you have to be related to that specific seed line. He's only speaking to a specific kinship, not Ham. I'm saying this will make it easier to kind of digest. A specific lineage within Shem, not Ham and Japheth. Abraham's household becomes the prototype of covenant discipleship with family altar. What? Family altar. Remember the images I showed you? I said these are shrines. And Sélɔ, because we're going to come back to that understanding. Every house would have one of these shrines set up in it. You can read about that in Judges, but every house would have one of these shrines set up. Different families having different different gods, deities that they were reverencing. Ours is Anyame, ObuGa, the Most High. That is ours. So we were supposed to have one altar. Hence why a temple concept was built. A place of what? Singularly worshiped by an entire people, which is contrary to how things were done in the past, where every man, every household would have their own altars set up. And you still see this today. Again, you can see this today. Instruction, that is our so-called the Holy Afa, or the biblical scriptures, the Torah, and circumcision marking its life. What? And circumcision? Were all the families, meaning Ham, Japheth, were all these families given circumcision? Only one specific people, family, kin, were given circumcision. Remember, Avraham, Ava is also our word for penis. Hame is group. Ava also means war. So he went from Avam, man of war, to Avahame, talking about circumcision. That is our word. That's the AKA Hebrew word for circumcision. The culture is in the language. You can only attribute circumcision to one people. That specifically came from us, the descendants of Avraham through Yitzchak to Jacobi. That's us. I showed you earlier the picture of the king of the Asante Ohene. You cannot be king of the Asante Ohene. You cannot be king of the Asante if you are circumcised. Proof of what I'm saying. You cannot be king of the Asante if you are circumcised. They do not allow it. It is a disqualifier. I'm just proving to you. I'm just proving to you who we are. And this is specifically speaking to us. Clan identity in the wilderness. Last thing I'll read of this. Under Moshe, Mishpacha becomes an administrative tool. The censuses in Numbers 1 through 4 and 26 sort Asade according to tribe, clan, and the father's house, so that service, encampment, and warfare may proceed in orderly fashion. Let all things be done in decency and in order. Levi's clans, the Gershonites, the Kohathites, and the Meratites receive task-specific worship assignments. Achan's sin illustrates collective solidarity. Joshua cast lots man by man. He captured Achan, son of Carmi, of the tribe of Yehudah, of the family of the Zerites. Discipline, therefore, respects the clan structure Mawu himself ordained. So it's just showing you all this. We're using that word mishpacha as clans within Asade, within Israel. It's not talking about other nations. This is a promise that through Avraham, this is what I'm declaring to you, that all of the clans of the house of Asade will be saved, will be blessed. Babame. It is not, that word is not speaking of other nations. I'm going to prove that further here. I will pause here and we will continue. Akbar.